Hi, Eric. Just wondering, your whole thought process with leaving the Avs and joining the Sabres, and has your perception of the Sabres, maybe from afar, changed over the last couple of years?
Yeah, good to be with you. Yeah, first off, it was every intention of mine to stay with Colorado. I just, they wanted to make a change, and that was fine. I understood their thought process and all that. And while I would have liked to stay, I totally understood. But once I found out that Colorado wasn't going to be an option, quickly had my agent Pat. Kind of get in touch with teams yesterday, and we had about 5 or 6 options, and Buffalo was right at the top of the list for me. And just playing against them the last few years, they remind me of Colorado a few years prior when we were building it. And they have a great nucleus of young talent, and I think they're knocking on the door. And it was a real appealing spot to me to go there and help them any way I can. I think it's a team that's really close, and I was excited that they were really interested, and they were definitely the most aggressive team. And I could just tell they really wanted me, and that was why I ended up signing here.
Thank you, Eric.
Anytime.
Hi, Eric. You mentioned the Sabres and the talent that you've noticed. I mean, how much did their decor with Darlene, Power, and some of these other guys really play into the decision? Just the opportunity to not only possibly, play with those guys, partner up with them, but also maybe share the wisdoms and experience that you've gained throughout the years to help that group take the next step.
Yeah, I think it's a group that reminds me a lot of our group in Denver. Maybe a little bit less experienced right now, but I mean, we had Makar and Byram and Taves and Gerard and a lot of those younger guys. And I just thought that that group as a whole reminded me a lot of a younger version of the Avs group. And Darlene seems super dynamic. I think he's one of the best in the league. And Power and Samuelson, I think it's a real great trio. And then you can kind of plug other guys in and out with those guys throughout the course of the season. It just felt like a really good fit, and I think I can lend some experience and just help those guys any way I can. I think they're so good that they're not going to need a lot of help with on ice stuff. It's just a lot of off the ice stuff and handling the day-to-day pressures that come with being a team that's up and coming like the Sabres are.
When it came to, when you're weighing your options yesterday and the days leading up to it, I mean, did you reach out to anybody on the Sabres, whether it be Tyson Jost or other guys you have relationships with, just to get a better feel for, you could see a team on the ice, but what's the group like off, and how those things are trending?
Yeah, I mean, I've known Kyle Poso since I was 8 years old. We grew up playing hockey together in Minnesota, so that was a familiarity for me. And obviously knowing Josie too. And Kyle and I have had a good relationship for a long time, and our families are really close. And just knowing him made it a little bit easier. And he could kind of speak about the team and the staff and the city. And it was a pretty easy decision. Like I said, I had five or six other teams, but Buffalo was really kind of in my gut, felt like the place to go.
Thanks, Eric.
Morning, Eric. Thanks for jumping on here. You've said a couple times there were teams out there when Colorado said they were moving on. How close did you come at all to just taking it to the house and going home?
Home as far as where?
It's just retiring.
Oh, you know what? I really didn't have that thought cross my mind at all, to be honest with you. I think my whole thing I've always said is, if my body feels good and I'm having fun, I'm going to keep playing as long as I can. And thankfully, my body feels really good right now, and I'm having fun playing the game. And just winning the cup a few years ago really re-energized me. And once you get that taste of winning, you just want it again and again. And I think Buffalo was one of those teams I picked because I think they're a team that will contend for a long time and is going to contend for years to come. And I hope I can help those guys any way I can. And there's nothing like winning, and winning the cup was the best experience, the most fun I've ever had. And you just once you get a taste of it, you want it again. And I think Buffalo's a spot that is knocking on the door, and we're going to be really close. And it's a team that's on the rise for years to come.
And like you said, they're trying to learn how to win here. You guys had to do that in Denver. You had some heartbreak in the playoffs before you finally won the cup. What did that cup season teach you about, even as a 30-something player? What did it teach you about what it takes to win?
Yeah, I always thought experience was a little bit overrated, but once you go through it, you realize how hard it is, and you need a lot of luck. You need a lot of things to go right, but once you go through it, you realize the grind. And I just gained so much respect for guys in years past that have won the cup and won it so many times, and how hard it is to do. And once you go through it, and there's nothing like that experience you get from going through that process of playing in the playoffs and playing in the finals. And there's so many ups and downs and ebbs and flows to seasons and series and playoffs and games. And I think I can just help any way I can. And I think having that experience at the playoffs and going through the finals and winning the cup will be good. And I think with a young team, just having some experience to lean on will be valuable.
Thank you.
Yep, anytime.
Hey, Erik, I guess on the note of Buffalo being at the top of your list, I think we've all sort of seen these days a changing perspective around the league on what Buffalo is building. So did you have any sort of reactions from your colleagues and peers about when news broke that you were coming here?
Yeah, I mean, I called a lot of my old teammates, and I was kind of bouncing the teams off some of them. And, all of them really said, I think Buffalo's a team on the rise. So I think that's not a secret anymore. I think people know that the Sabres are coming, and whether it's this year, next year, I don't know how soon it's going to be. I just feel like it's a team that is going to contend for a long time. And I think I can help that process hopefully this year. And you just got to get in the playoffs. Anything can happen. You look at Florida this year, you look at LA a few years ago. If you get in, there's no telling how far you can go. And if this team can get in the playoffs, I think a lot of teams really wouldn't want to play us. I think it's a fast team, a skilled team. They can play any way you want it. And like I said, it's a contending team, and guys around the league know that. And it was one of the reasons I wanted to sign here. I just feel like it's a team that's real close.
And then you touched a bit on, that sort of youth movement and how it mirrors what you saw in Denver. When you look at, obviously that was a few years ago, and you've gained just a few more years of experience on top of that, how do you want your experience to impact these up and coming guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of these guys are so good now that, I'm probably going to learn a lot of stuff from what they're doing on the ice. And I think just maybe some off ice stuff, how you train, how you recover, how you prepare. There's so much that goes into a season, and there's such a grind. And I think, I've been able to play so long. I battled a lot of injuries, but you really have to perfect your craft and take care of it away from the rink. And when you're at the rink, there's so many resources nowadays that you can take care of yourself and recover faster and get stronger. And I think, going through the process of that long cup run, you just learn what it takes to take care of your body on a day-to-day basis, and what you really need to do to make sure you're at your best all year long. And I just think how I prepare, how I get ready for games, how I recover, I think it's going to be just a good resource for those guys. I think I remember being a rookie and watching a lot of the veterans and seeing how they carried themselves and how they worked. And when I was a rookie in St. Louis, I remember Paul Kariya and how he took care of himself and how he got ready, and stuff like that rubs off on guys, and it makes a big difference. And I hope I can do that to some of these guys here in Buffalo.
Thanks, Erik.
Sure.
Erik, thanks so much for doing this, and congrats on your contract here in Buffalo. You, of course, were a #1 overall pick, and there's not too many defenses that have 3 #1 overall picks on them. You went through it a while ago with the St. Louis Blues, now Owen Power and Rasmus Dahlin. There are huge pressures that maybe we don't even know about that go with that. Sometimes I think they're not allowed to have bad games because they're #1 overall picks and that type of thing. What was your experience with that, and how can you help them with the pressures of dealing with that?
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest thing was I struggle at letting go of mistakes and letting go of bad games. I think I'd let them carry with me a little too long, and then they'd kind of turn into kind of little slumps that you're in. And I just think as you get older, you realize that you have to have a short memory. And, if you make a turnover or a bad play, it's certainly not the first time you ever done it. It won't be the last time. Things like that always are going to happen. It's just the game that we play. And what really helped me is just controlling what you can control. I mean, you can't change what someone's going to think about you or anything like that. It's all about getting better and just controlling what you can control. And I think once I started realizing that you just have to focus on those things and the things that are in your own power, I think it really helps. And hopefully I can help those guys in any way I can. I'm a resource for them, and I'm looking forward to helping them in whatever capacity I can.
Thank you.
Hey, Erik, Matt Fairburn from The Athletic here. Congrats on the deal. You've mentioned kind of being in Colorado from the ground floor of building that thing. And I'm curious what you remember about what it took from to get from being a team that was on the rise to a team that was able to make a cup run. Like what types of things helped you guys flip the switch there?
Well, our culture change, over the course of time. I think we got guys in the locker room that really wanted to be there and wanted to be a part of the process. And, our team mindset was we had to eliminate excuses and eliminate bitching and complaining, excuse my language. But I think we had a group that was maybe a little too selfish at times, and we had to change the culture and just put the team first. And once we did that, I think everyone was comfortable in their roles, and everyone knew what their job was. And I think, sometimes you have to do what's maybe not best for you, but it's going to be best for the team. And I think as a whole, we really adopted that mindset as a group. And it took some time. We had to go through some heartbreak, but before you can win, sometimes you have to lose. And, we lost for a while, but we stuck with it. And I think we knew we were going to turn a corner eventually. And, we finally got over the hump, but it took some learning experiences and some heartbreak. And we lost in the second round 3 years in a row. We missed the playoffs a few times. And, but credit to our team. I mean, our management stuck with us, and we ended up getting over the hump. So, I just think Buffalo's a team that excites me. I think, they've lost for a little bit, but they're really knocking on the door. They just missed the playoffs last year. So I think it's a team that sounds like it has a great culture, and I hope I can help that. And I'd love to help this team get in the playoffs, and I really want to win another cup.
Have you met Owen Power at all or had any sort of dealings with him?
No, I don't know anyone except Tyson Jost and Kyle Poso. So looking forward to getting to know some of my new teammates, and looking forward to getting to Buffalo, finding a place to live, and getting to camp.
Thank you, Erik.
Sure.
Morning, Erik. Joe Yerdon here. You've been a leader with Colorado for years, but when you look around you look at the Buffalo room and the defense room, especially, you see guys are 23, 24, 25, 20. You see how many young guys there are. Have you been with a group like that that's so young before at your position?
Gosh, I mean, our decor was pretty young here in Colorado with Makar and Byram. Maybe not this young, but we've had some young guys over the years that have really developed into good players in Colorado. And I think, I mentioned earlier, these guys really do remind me of a decor that we had in Colorado. And, obviously Cale Makar is one of the best in the world, but I think Dahlin's really close to being a top 5 D-man in the league, and probably could win a Norris down the road here. And Power, and then Samuelson, I really like his game. And obviously signing Clifton, I think it's a really deep group. And I hope I can help any way I can. I mean, I know I'm the old guy back there, but I think being around young guys just energizes you. And that's what really helped in Colorado. We had a young team, a young decor, and it's just fun being around the young guys. I'm 35, but I'm I'm old for my profession, but I'm young in life. But I'm still a kid at heart and love having fun and being in the locker room and hanging around with the guys, and being with a young team like that is fun. And I think that's an exciting part about playing for the Sabres.
How much did Kyle have to sell you on coming to Buffalo, or was it just a really easy conversation with him?
It helped. Definitely to have a familiar face. I've known him a long time. We were roommates in college at Minnesota, so I think it definitely helped. Just hearing about the coaching staff and the city, and I think Buffalo is a blue collar, hardworking town, and everyone likes living there. I know a lot of alumni live there and love it, and it was really actually an easy sell. I know I said I had a couple other teams in the mix, but Buffalo was right at the top and how aggressive they were. And I could tell they really wanted me, and you want to feel wanted. And that's what I felt from the Sabres.
Thanks, Erik.
Yep.
Erik, when Buffalo, you said a couple times your Buffalo was aggressive. Did it throw you back to those 2 games in December? And what do you remember about those 2 games? They were both pretty wild, high-scoring, open affairs.
Yeah, I don't remember a whole lot. I remember, I remember how good their first line was. That's for sure. I feel like that line was buzzing all night, and I think when Colorado and Buffalo matched up, it was a fun, high-scoring game, and lots of offense and chances. And I think the biggest thing that you have to learn, though, that it took a little bit in Colorado is when your best players commit to the defensive side of the game, that's when you really turn a corner and win. When McKinnon and Landeskog and Rantanen, when those guys focused just as much on the defensive side as they did in the offensive side, that's when we really turned a corner as a team. And I think those guys like Thompson and Tuck and Skinner, I think they have such great offensive talents. They're some of the best in the league. And but maybe to turn a corner as a team, if we focus on the defensive side maybe a little bit more, that's when your team turns a corner. And I'm not saying they don't do that now, but that's what I really learned in Colorado when we put that emphasis on defense, because you're always going to have your offense. You can't teach offense to guys. You either have it or you don't. You can always teach team defense. And I think that's what we really established in Colorado, is letting those talents take over, but eventually you kind of have to rein it in, and you have to commit to the defensive side of the game to win. And I think that's what it's going to take in Buffalo. You might sacrifice a little bit of offense, but for the betterment of the team and winning, I think that's what it's going to take. And I hope it's a good situation, and guys take to it, and we learn, and we go from there.
And you always learn even at this stage of your career. So I have to ask, what was your takeaway of what happened against Seattle? There were weird things, the suspension, injuries play a part, but you guys probably thought you had a chance to go back to back.
Yeah, we did. We, in my opinion, we paid the Stanley Cup tax pretty hard, as I like to call it. We had so many injuries. I want to say we set a franchise record for man games lost. It just, Gabe missed all year, and Manson missed a lot, and Byram, and I mean, guys were in and out all year. We never really could establish a rhythm, but it was just one of those things. I mean, we tied the game against Seattle. We just went offsides, so who knows what happens if we tie it up and that goal doesn't get reversed. But it just seemed like it didn't feel like our year, really. I think looking back on it, I think in the moment you think you can win, and we just had so much to overcome last year. It was hard not having Gabe all year. That was really tough, not having your captain. So I think we ran into a really good Seattle team that was playing really, really well, and they were deep and they were firing on all cylinders, and we just couldn't get over the hump there. And it sucked, but at least we got the cup, and it's sad to go out on that note, but I'm just grateful for the time I spent in Colorado and got the cup, and hopefully we can get one in Buffalo.
Thanks, Erik.
Sure.
All right. Thank you so much for your time this morning, Erik.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.